Definitely going to start today with some drama. Who's ready? So I was thinking about this. I mean, you guys know I don't like people that cheat. So there's this thing called the enhanced games. And fuck it. I'm going all in. I'm going to start casting some stones. First of all, the enhanced games is this idea that they are basically going to try to find the human limits with, hey, let's be honest, you're a drama. You're a fake chick. This is deep state shit. The enhanced games is trying to find the peak of human performance because, you know, why the fuck not? People are cheating anyways. You might as well let them fully cheat and see what we can do with it. Now, we're going to go into a deep rabbit hole on this one, but I want you guys to see like outward marketing that they've got going on here. One, it's very dude-centric. Dude, chick, dude with a chick, dude. You know why? Because the boys make the fucking noise. They just want to see dudes break records. There's not zero, but such a low level of female attention here. It's a bit odd. Olympic medalists. I don't know who this Marius Kush guy is, but we got a couple of Olympic medalists over here. You got this yoked out dude in a couple shots. More dudes over here getting in ice barrels. I know that house. It's for fucking creeps. And then, interestingly enough, the dude pictures that they choose are like extremely sexual and like hot. And then the chick pictures they use are just like, here's the girl that we know who wants to take drugs. Like, look at this. This is a modeling photo. This is trying to get you to take your clothes off. This right here, whatever he's doing with his lips right here, they don't even focus on his face. This is entirely on his lips. The lighting on his lips, this whole thing's creepy. If nobody thinks this is creepy, then you're fucking creepy. I'm just saying, yeah, I get it. They're going to do some stuff. This guy actually had a pretty interesting interview. I don't know if they're going to find it, but he was talking about, well, let's just keep on stirring up this drama pot. Botox for dudes is so gay. That's true. They're also recognizing now there's a study that's come out that the botulism that is part of these Botox shots is leaking into people's brains and fucking them up. So, yeah. This guy's clearly like a very, very superstar-based British swimmer. I think he was a silver medalist in 2024. The thing that's odd and complicated is he had this interview the other day where he basically was like, yeah, like the amount of work that I would have to do to make the money that I could make potentially by going over to the enhanced games is just like ludicrously different. And I get that. And he said that also, like, he's not necessarily forced to be on the drugs, but there's a whole team of people that will help him on the drugs. I get that. But this is kind of my argument against like OnlyFans as well. It's like you could have a real job and work like the rest of us, or you could just take your private parts out and dance around and have people throw money at you. This is the OnlyFans version of athletics. Like, I can't make enough money doing my regular job, so I'm going to take my tits out and do it. So for me, it's a disappointment. I mean, this guy right here, this guy's a douchebag. He got caught cheating, and now he switched over to the enhanced games, which makes sense because the lane that he was in before, that thing's been shut down. That's been shut down. But the other guys, I don't get it, man. Like, it's a bit disappointing. I think what you're doing is you're teaching a bad message to people around the world that are like, I can't make it on my own the natural way, so I'm going to do the next best thing where I can cheat. Well, necessarily do it the unnatural way and get paid more money, which in my sense of the world, I think that's just a bad idea. Shortcuts and like thin work and this obviously, all these people made it to a certain distance without drugs, but it's just a bad message, man. It's a bad message. Anybody who's really looking up to this thing is, it's disappointing. Like the number one poster boy that they have going to the enhanced games got caught cheating. He wouldn't be competing in this if he didn't get caught cheating. I think if you're an athlete, you can pay attention to this. You can look at it. But if you buy tickets to go watch and you go celebrate it, or you're a company that sponsors it, you're a dick. You're a dick. All these guys, in my mind, are taking the low road. So, and also, I mean, if you're in the game of pursing your lips together and getting a good black and white photo, this is your lane. But if you're in the lane of being a fucking macho man and getting shit done like the rest of us, let's go. Let's fucking go. Bodhi Santave, they didn't make you look great. But even these photos, dude, this whole thing is 100% a little too weird for me. These photos, they're too spicy. I don't know what they're trying to sell. They're trying to sell a certain community. I'm probably not going to say it out loud, but you know what I'm fucking saying. The whole thing is weird. It's just too creepy. Let's get into the notes here. Yo, Hunter, being a pussy, do strict pull-ups in Murph. Why would I do that? Why the fuck do I care that you like strict pull-ups? By the way, anybody who's watching this, I'm going to break down the Murph record real quick. There's so many dimensions of this thing that I had to encounter the first time I did it. And the second time around, I'm going to change my approach. First of all, it was a workout created by a guy who was a legend. And when he passed away, the workout was immortalized, and he was immortalized through the workout, and everyone continues to do it and supports it. And I think that's awesome. But like, much like the story of the marathon, that had its impetus story, and now it's become this massive thing where people around the world are doing it. And it used to be the story of a person running from place to place, and it was a certain amount of distance, and then the marathon started. And much like how this workout is now been to the CrossFit Games multiple times, I've set the record. Other people have set the record. They've chased it down. You find ways to change things to improve the experience and speed it up. Nobody gives a shit about strict pull-ups other than people that are not that great at the Kipping pull-ups. And if you want to do strict pull-ups, I think it's a fascinating way to work out. I still do strict pull-ups, but that's not the purpose of it. If you haven't figured that out yet. You know, it's one of those kind of things where you guys got to pick up on the beat in the room, if you get what I'm trying to say. It's one of these kind of things where, why would I give a shit what you think kind of moments. The reality is that anybody who wants to take on this challenge, you can take it on however you want. You can make it a workout. You can make it a competition. You could just make it a powwow or a celebration for the guy's life. There's many opportunities of approaching it. I think you should take on all three. Occasionally I do. But as far as this workout goes, the standards are basic push-ups, basic squats, basic pull-ups, and get them done as fast as possible. The CrossFit industry was really smart in the way that they brought in the version of Kipping pull-ups, which made sport a lot faster. You take on 100 pull-ups strict, it is much slower, meaning slower things are less entertaining. AKA, while we're going over, we were just having a conversation about the enhanced games. People can't help themselves. They want to see things done as fast as humanly possible, whether it's done through doping or not. They just want to see it done quick, and they want to move on to the next thing. So Kipping pull-ups definitely make a difference. Yes, base show. That was an intense opinion on that. I do like that. Yeah. Speaking of supplements, this guy just asked if I take beetroot supplements. You can, but I do want to get into this. 15 years ago, Jack 3D hit the market. And I want you guys to also pay attention to this price right here. 23 each in a 3-pack. You can't beat these fucking numbers. This was the greatest product that was ever created in the history of time for supplements. Nothing's ever been the same since. I used to work out in this gym in the Upper East Side. I would get home from whatever dumb shit I would do with my day, and I would work out often at 11 o'clock at night in the basement gym when all the bodybuilders would go down there. And I'm telling you, man, we were cranked the fuck up on this stuff. And to get a 3-pack, god damn, that's nice. There's an interview right here where this guy is talking about he was one of the people who worked for the company that made Jack 3D. And literally he's just explaining that it was amphetamines that were in there. We can go find Jack 3D. Okay. I don't know what the hell these things are. But obviously, like creatine. Well, what was the original formula? See. What was the main ingredient? No, these people are fucking us. It's the DMMA. What was the outlawed? Aha! Several other names commonly used in a product promising weight loss. No. I mean, listen, it was an amphetamine. It was fucking awesome. And I'll admit, I'll just be straight up with you guys. I own a supplement company. I'm drinking Hydro right now. Praise be Jesus. And if every pre-workout I've ever taken, nothing quite compares. You can high dose beta-alanine, high dose caffeine. It feels a lot cleaner. That's something you should race on. Definitely tried things like Jack 3D when I raced. Bad idea. But training, like weightlifting, unstoppable. And if you guys really, really want to just blast it. Now, there's no pre-workout type buzz, but just blasting a very, very high capacity workout. There is nothing in the market whatsoever that comes close to sodium bicarbonate. Now, the hang up is that you will likely shit your pants. You have to decide whether or not you're going to take the pills, you're going to take the Morton, you're going to take whatever, but you're all gambling because what's coming down the pipe is brown. Doesn't matter. In the middle of the workout, before the workout, after the workout, you're going to let it go. Unless you train it intensely. And nobody who's watching this show right now has the guts to do that. You know, you got really, really elite level athletes that are doing it. Then you also have the athletes that are going to test it. They're just going to just tickle the goose a little bit on this one. But the thing is that when I was leading up to world championships, I was using it 2 to 4 times a week. And I had to allow myself to break through the barriers of my physicality while using it so I could actually get the training stimulus that would allow me to break through and have higher fitness on the top end. So if you don't train it often, it's a waste of time. Like you just showing up to a Hyrox and deciding to take it for the first time, you're going to shit yourself and you probably won't exercise as hard as you can. But I'm letting you guys know right now that it's one of those kind of things that if you use it properly, it's insane. But Jack 3D, it was the real deal. It was one of these kind of things that they should legalize it. You can get drunk. You can smoke cigarettes. You can smoke cigars. You can vape. You can do all this other weird shit. You can smoke weed now. I'm pretty sure mushrooms are legal. But you're going to take Jack 3D away from us? I mean, I would say 50%, not 50%. Let's say like, truthfully, almost 10% of the people that I see in Los Angeles now are on some similar kind of substance, walking around the street like zombies. And you can go to facilities and they'll give it to you. Why can't I have Jack 3D? Why would you take that away from us? The good boys of the world. I told my buddy about that. He did too much and he shit himself. It's a true story. It's a true story. Yeah, it had ephedrine in it. Let's look this up for a second. It's a medication used to manage and treat clinically significant hypotension. Class of drug, FDA. Doesn't make sense. Deals with low blood pressure. Why is it banned? Has serious safety risks. I feel like everything on the fucking planet has serious safety risks. I just can't buy into this shit. We already talked about the creepiness of that. Since we're on this, we're just going to hack this out. We're already on nutrition here. You know, I'm not going to waste your guys' time reading all of this stuff, but this is why I created Hydro and Strength X2, Hybrid Fuel. I learned about this from Charles Poliquin a long time ago, where he was telling me that I needed to be cranking BCAAs all day long. So look at this. Now, I don't know how many of you guys are eating like gigantic slabs of pork daily, but this is an interesting study. PubMed, which we'll say potentially is a serious publication. Effects of pork protein ingestion prior to and following performing the Army Combat Fitness Tests on markers of catabolism, inflammation, and recovery. So I don't think many of you guys are eating pork MREs. And the idea is that these guys were taking the military fitness test. They were eating it before and afterwards. So basically just like high densities of protein. And what it led to is less muscle soreness, less urinary urea excretion, basically protein breakdown, and that's catabolism. Less markers for cortisol, less markers of depression. I don't know how the fuck you read that. Higher testosterone cortisol ratio, higher appetite satisfaction, and less favorable changes in blood lipid profiles. So obviously it's harder to eat a chunk of pork and then go do a hard workout and then go eat a chunk of pork afterwards. So amino acids are the answer for this. Like if you guys all start cranking amino acids more often before your workouts, that's the transfer here. That's the difference between you sitting around having a bunch of pork in your pocket and having supplementation. So praise be to that. Thanks, PubMed, for proving myself. Help me out here. Like, I think it's a crock of shit that everyone's just cranking carbohydrates all the time. I think you guys need to put BCAAs in your shit. Nobody cares about your stomach, Mexican Godfather. Quit making the show difficult. But try it out, everybody. Whether or not you trust me, you like my products or whatever, go on Amazon, buy whatever the fuck you want. Take it. Take a shit ton of it for a month and see what happens. Take it. Take it. Take it. I would say BCAAs. The difference between BCAAs and EAAs, BCAAs, branched chain amino acids, 3 amino acids that have higher effects in protein synthesis and the kind of things that we were just talking about right here in this section right here. Essential amino acids are covering the entire amino acid chain. People are like, it's essential. You need to have all of them. You're getting it through food throughout the entire day. It's not a big deal. But if you're talking about the performance of just exercise, BCAAs are higher value. And also, if you take 5 grams of essential amino acids, you have a much lower dosage of that of BCAAs, which are the more important values. So if you have to have 5 and 5, you might as well have 5 grams entirely of the most valuable essential acids or amino acids. So don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. What else do we got in here? Cerebral gray matter. Just taking. Okay. Okay. You guys are, I love it that there's so many CrossFitters in this now. Just letting you guys know that CrossFit did do an amazing job on educating people. They did. The CrossFit certification system was awesome. The L1 was just like the NASM certification in a weekend with probably more valuable information towards the athletic body of people. The zone diet is one of these kind of things where it was kind of like macronutrient diet. So we all know that macronutrients are extremely valuable, and having a pretty precise plan on how many macronutrients you eat to have a certain kind of training outcome is really valuable. Just saying you're going to eat 3,000 calories a day is just too loose. I think that I took CrossFit L1, gymnastics, strongman, kettlebells, endurance. I don't know what the fuck else I took. Getting into the specialist certifications, I recognize that I just spent a bunch of money to spend time with some people that were more obsessed with that kind of lifting than I was. Was it valuable? Sure. Was it too expensive for what I got in return? Probably. Then I think the issue where it really got there is that the community, you guys are a bunch of cannibals. It's happening the same thing to the Hyrox community. It's also just the internet these days. Like you try to find the most educated person in the room, and when you get your resources, and now it's the loudest person in the room. So I think what ended up happening is that the athletes in CrossFit got louder than the actual ownership and body of CrossFit. So now people were listening to athletes more than they were the foundation of CrossFit. So the education platform got skewed. It got devalued. It was more important to listen to Rich Froning and what he was up to than it was to listen to Greg Glassman or all of the trainers that he had underneath him that were teaching certifications all over the world. And what happens there is that it's kind of it's a false god, if you know what I'm trying to say. And there's nothing wrong with Rich Froning. I think you just have to understand that that's where it fell apart. I don't think many of the people that are in the CrossFit community are educated. I think that they're just fitter than you are, and that excites you more than an educated person. So what happens next is that the foundation starts to crumble as you're building bricks on top, because you're highlighting only the statues on top of the building rather than focusing on the foundation of the building. And then guess what? 15 years into it, the whole fucking thing collapses. And then all of a sudden you guys are left around with a bunch of bones on the ground, and you guys are picking at each other like crows. So for me, that's part of the reason why I do this shit all the time. Like, I don't gain anything really from it. I'm sitting down for an hour in the morning a couple of times a month, and I'm shitting on things because I capture it right before it starts to go off, and hopefully I get a couple people to witness what I have to say, and maybe you guys learn something. But then the rest of the day, I just exercise a shit ton and read. So, I don't know. I know that was a rant, but hopefully you guys maybe witness and have an aha moment after seeing that. But I don't think there is any continued education. I don't think there is anybody trying to make this community better. I think they're just trying to make you guys sweat more. And then all of a sudden, what ends up happening is there's this fog around everything. And I don't know the last time you guys drove in the fog, but you have to slow down a lot, and you can't really see where you're going, and you don't know where the lines on the road are that are meant to kind of keep you centered. And then what ends up happening is that you might take a wrong turn. And by the time you know where you're going, you're like, oh, fuck, I'm lost. So that's what's happening. Like, I just don't think that there's a really good leader in this, and there's too much fog around. We need to get the fucking leaf blower out and blow out that fog. So, back to shitting on people. Andrew Hiller This is your fault. I'll give you an example. Andrew Hiller's on the show right now. Andrew Hiller spends more time throwing rocks at people than trying to use the rocks to build something. This is the exact point that I'm trying to make. So if you have a brick, you could build something or you can throw it at people. Andrew Hiller throws bricks at people. He's the kind of person that is somehow like, okay, I'll give you an example. Like, you know, when there's like these riots going around in the United States, and then we're like, hey, like, how did this get so bad? And then you find out somehow that like the CIA funded like a second secret group to throw the first brick or the first Molotov cocktail and then allowed everybody else to do the damage. Andrew Hiller, man wearing a mask, working for some deep state organization, trying to help destabilize everything. Just saying, you fucked it up, dude. Because if someone does try to rise out of these ashes, you are the first person to pull them back in. You are the fucking crab that is preventing everybody from getting out. I'm just saying. And I mean, it's a lot of fun to watch you, but you should maybe take consideration on what you do every single day. Heidi, I've missed you. I want to talk about some records. Oh, fuck that. Look at this dude just getting housed. Check this out. Wait. Here's the moment. And this is what makes sports so great. This is like that moment where you see the quarterback with the ball cocked back, and then there's that lineman that he doesn't see, who's coming in from the side and about to knock the fucking shit out of you. Here's contact. There's awareness now. You can see the rigidity in his body. You can see the fear now splaying out through the bone structure. That right here, that's called a fear hand. And then there's that moment of just recognizing that you're probably not going to remember for the rest of your life what happens over the next 30 to 60 seconds. There's going to be concussion. There's going to be all these kind of things. If I had to guess based on the tip here versus how much of the horn is missing, there's about 6 to 8 inches inside of this man. And now, based off, if you think just based, this is missing all the way here. Now we're talking about nearly a foot. He's putting a hand down, trying to slow daddy down. Not going to happen. Now he's got 2 hands back there. He's like, daddy, please don't go any further. And it's up. This is the disconnect, but it's beautiful. And then the buck off right there, I'm starting to recognize that these kind of animals are a lot more talented than we give them credit for. Like, this guy's just been sitting in some kind of basically field for most of their life. And then when they get that moment, that one moment to just dice you the fuck up. Yeah. Oh, dude, I have to show you guys this. This is insane. This is one of my best friends, Dennis Welsh. I love you, dude. Sorry I'm doing this to you. I may have shown you guys this before, but Dennis owns a lot of cows, and he's a hick, and he thinks he's the coolest thing since sliced bread. Dude got housed. What's that? See that right there? Ear missing, all this kind of stuff. Insane. Missing chunks of his body from a bull. I guess before I forget, this is a tragedy too. I didn't realize that this video led to something really bad, but I'm not going to talk about that. Okay, let's go here. Let's go to Hyrox. I'm going to give you guys my honest predictions for the weekend. We got Timmy. We got Alec Ronkovich. So, guys, this weekend, we got the Hamburg event. And I'm not going because I don't want to. I don't think you guys recognize they don't hold a gun to our head and say that we have to go do all these things. We raced championships in June. So I had June to July, July to August, August to September, 90 days. I enjoyed my summer. Toured around, did some shit, saw my family, did a tour bus, hosted my own race. I don't know if you guys know this, but the majority of people that started out early in the season last year did not finish well in the season. Just saying. Now, I can't say that's 100% facts, but it's kind of true. Kind of true. Kind of true. But it looks like these guys are all doing doubles. I'm not really trying to pay attention to this. Here's my predictions. Guys, I'm going to give it to Tim, then probably JK, then Ronkovich, and I don't know what else is going to happen. Chicks, I'm going to give it to Joanna, and then I'm going to say Weeks and Sinead. That would be my mix, I think. I don't know who's going. Let's see the girls. Weeks is coming in there. I don't know this girl. Linda. I think Linda's one of these kind of girls that's just like a slow burner. She knows when to show up. And when she does show up, she's always like top 3. Oh, Sinead's not running. Okay. Then I'll give it to Linda. But I also think Linda's smart where I don't think is it Sinead? Who the fuck would know? Basically, I think she's the kind of person that goes really slow and then just allows it just to kind of burn through people. In my mind, she'll start the season slow and then finish the season awesome. I don't know any of these people. Maybe I got to get a little bit more awareness here. Maybe a little bit. But as far as these guys goes, let's see if there's any notable names. Jake Dearden's always good. Jake Williamson. That's my boo. I don't know. Love that mustache on him. These guys are pretty good. I don't know. What I've noticed also about the beginning of the race season is everybody tends to go really, really, really fast on the first race. So you'll see some insanely fast times. I bet you maybe even see a 53. I don't think you're going to get a world record. I think that takes a little bit more focus, and you'll see it near like the end of the season, but you'll see some PRs out of people. And I don't know. I have to ask some people about this. They always get upset when I live stream, but if they don't get upset that I live stream, guys, I will live stream it. I will do the work. I'll absolutely crush it. And you guys can come onto the show and I'll broadcast the whole thing. They always end up getting upset and asking me to take it down, but we might as well have fun while we have the chance. Because in reality, I don't think there's like a specific rule that says I can't do it. I think they just have the rights to prevent me from keeping it up. And why the hell not? Why the hell not? Ooh. Let's go. Let's talk about the boys. Jim Walmsley, unfortunately, didn't do UTMB or Western States this year. He did CCC, which he won in a very tight margin by like under 20 seconds. And then he was not able to run Western States, which I went to go watch him. We were hanging out a little bit at UTMB this summer. But he just won basically the Long Trail World Championship and just cranked on these guys. Like went out super fucking hard and smoked the field. Broke them early. And I just love that for Jim. Jim Bob is my fucking favorite, dude. I've known this guy for a long time. We've been friends for 10 years. And the fact that this dude still just keeps on hammering makes me happy. Makes me happy. He's a fucking beast. And I'm not going to lie, I'm just pumped for the white boys, dude. Like, these guys are out here crushing it. Team America, dude, they took third. This guy right here, I don't know his name. They call him Shins in the Woods. No, that's not him. What's his name? This guy right here, I've been kind of following him a little bit and what he's up to, the slim runner. Christian Allen. Homeboy, I think, took fourth. And he's got a sick mullet. Just buried it. That's him with his son. He won Broken Arrow, which is awesome. These guys are fucking cooking it this season. This chick's fucking shredded. What's with chicks always being so much more shredded than dudes in the running community? But dude's killing it. This guy, Remy is the one who won the uphill championships. This guy's just murdering it. He's got a lot of big wins behind him. I think he's a Red Bull athlete. Look how skinny he is. Dude's just a beast. How do I get his Instagram? Remward. Damn, he's got more followers than me. Fuck. Look at this guy. He's got so many sick medals. He even gets more likes than me whenever he does shit. He definitely had a hard start to his season, but I wish you guys could see. Hopefully they show a video of this guy running. Dude's just on fire. Dude is super on fire. I don't know what these things are, but we don't get these at Hyrox. This dude gets these glass balls and shit. I don't get those. Wish I had money like he did. Let's see if I can show you guys. Ooh. Okay, here we go. So 6 kilometers, just over 5K here, and took him 37 minutes. And I think it's just under a VK. I don't know how that's even possible. It says, elevation. Yeah, you can see this is just absolutely brutal. The dude's basically holding the equivalent of like 3K flats, just smashing it. The vertical climbing on this is insane. Like, you're looking at 450 to 500 feet per mile. It's painful. That's wicked painful. The dude's just a fucking beast. See, look, I don't get it. Out of nowhere, white dudes are just cooking it now. They're cooking it. I'm proud of you boys. Thought we had lost it. After Ryan Hall, I thought we were never going to come back. But, I mean, look at the way this dude moves. That's probably like a 15+% incline, and he's running way faster than you on flat. Yeah, he doesn't need to squat 135 pounds. Like, Bill, there's a humongous difference between the best athletes in the world and athletes that just do stuff mildly well across the board. I was having this conversation with somebody yesterday. It was with Sweet Teats. I used to be way fitter across the board. I had higher levels of strength, higher levels of wattage outputs in certain areas. I just had like a crazy level of balance where I was like black belts across the board in so many things. I have a belt system in my house where I invite people around the world to come and do workouts. And then if you come to my house, you have to be able to do these numbers to, pass the dojo. There's a yellow belt all the way up through a black belt. And it's my version of just showing like very, very insanely hard capacity. I used to be a black belt in basically anything I could get my hands on. But that being said, I tried to go and specialize and get really, really into things that were like super specialized, except for handstand walks. It's a good example. I went to go and compete in the CrossFit Games in 2019, and I actually was in the worst shape of my professional career. I decided that I wanted to get really, really good at trying to like snatch and do chest to bar pull-ups and walking on my hands. But what it did was it massively brought down the potential of my overall stuff. Like, let's just say a 2K time trial, a 30-minute time trial test, a max bench press test, a max push-up test, a vertical jump, just like this broad, very basic ability of like horsepower output performance. It made me bad. It made me a much worse athlete. The more funneled you get into a specific goal, you're going to get way worse at being a well-rounded human being. Like, I guarantee that basketball players are super weak compared to the size of their mass. You get them to go do a bench press or a squat, you'd be like, holy shit, this guy's a pussy. Look at the size of him. But he's a basketball player. He has to jump high and have accuracy with his shots and box people out. The same exact thing right now. I can technically run faster probably than I ever did before right now. And I can do wall balls better than I've ever done before and some burpees and stuff, but my strength has come down significantly. My balance, my output on maybe on a 2K row, things that were just like the beast mode factors that I used to kind of train all around. Because you got to figure I was doing Broken Skull Ranch, ultra marathons, Spartan races, rock climbing, anything I could get my fucking hands on. Even when I really liked CrossFit, I would use CrossFit while I was doing all these endurance races. And then all of a sudden I cut out all the endurance races and tried to heighten the specificity of CrossFit, and I got terrible. I was now so poorly well-rounded. And if I look back, I wish I could go to the CrossFit Games again and do probably 50% less CrossFit and add on all the shit that I had before. And I think it would have been better off. You guys can disagree, but you look at these guys and if you start to really silo yourself and want to be the best mountain runner in the world, like this dude, freakish. Like he loses almost everything other than being able to run uphill. Like I even remember when I was hanging out with Ryan Hall back in the day, I was asking him about mobility and he's like, mobility is for suckers. He goes, you want your body to be tight and rigid so you can get as much response out of every step as possible when it comes to marathoning. Now, that guy was the best North American marathoner in history, and same with half marathon. Dude was a freak. The amount of times that he dropped without super shoes is insane. So, in my mind, he knew what he was talking about. I know this has nothing to do with sport, but this confuses me. It is somewhat sport. Being a bouncer is being a defensive athlete. You are almost like a lineman for a performer. I always get confused when I look at concerts and you see somebody jump up on stage and rush the singer. Now, the singer's your quarterback. The singer's got to make plays. The singer has to bring the show, get points on the fucking board. So if the show gets delayed, you're fucking things up. And this right here is a dude who is probably the best bouncer I've ever seen in the game, and I want to celebrate him. I don't know his name, but look at this. Homie coming up on stage right here. Pay attention. Now, we're talking about this dude's running. You can see the speed, defense. Now, look at the positioning here. Bent knees, great foot contact, rigid core, a little bit of bend in the elbows, but full double hand contact. This dude right here, levitating. Now, this dude right here, still in a great stance. You can see a performer in the background saying respect. This guy right here, now, if I had to guess, that's about a body length and a half down to pavement. Yep. He's dead now. But he's in that position because he put himself there. You can't sue after that. You put yourself in that position. Defense, baby. I don't know who the fuck some of the security are for these performers and things that we've been witnessing recently, but that guy needs to be on all the squads. He needs to be teaching seminars. I also like this real quick. Check this out. Aaron Rodgers, 75 years old, still in the league, crisp. Now He's on the Steelers, which I consider to be probably the second hardest team in the league. Check this out. Daddy's about to chuck a pigskin. He hits this laser. Of course, they go and they get some yards. Maybe even a TD. Yep. But if you pay attention, let's get back to the real thing here. He's jazzed. He's jazzed. Look at this. You see what's in his hand right there? This dude's about to crack a smelling salt. To me, if you're 75 and you're in the league and you're cracking smelling salts before you pitch lasers, that's commitment. I was watching this thing where there was this NBA player, and he was one of the greatest back in the time, maybe like 30, 40 years ago. And he was talking about all these prima donnas that are in the leagues now, and they get paid so much money, and their contract says they get this kind of time off. People will take whole seasons off. I think it's like how committed you are to the game versus getting paid. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers has made a shit ton of money in his lifetime. He could retire. But this dude's out here cracking smelling salts and pitching lasers. He's in the game. This is somebody you guys got to respect. Deshaun Watson, he had all these stats, pervert. Aaron Rodgers, basically, he's just the bad dad of the community, dude. Just a sweet soul, blasting pigskins, cracking smelling salts, getting peas on the bee. Wish you guys celebrated him more. We're not going to have many more like him. We're not. Ooh. My ex-girlfriend. I guess there's some things that we could talk about. I think this is interesting. Probably going to offend some people. This guy right here, Mario Balotelli, one of the greatest soccer, football players, whatever you want to call him, of all time. Listen to this story. Before I became rich and famous, Italian girls didn't like me. Not even some of my schoolmates. They say they don't love black people. It was hard to find a white girl. So I tried to get, I tried going to the red light neighborhood with a little money I had on me, but they kept on turning me down because I'm black. When I finally signed my professional soccer contract, I leveled up, bought a car, went out and picked up 4 girls to have fun with. I sat in the middle of 2 girls on my right and 2 on my left. People thought I was a Casanova, but I did it for revenge. Since then, I understood that all women want is money. When you're rich, they don't see color, the color of your skin or where you came from. Sad. You boys, since there's like 99% men listening to this channel, you got to be careful when you're stacking that bread. You definitely have to be careful who you surround yourself with, and you got to definitely be careful with the women that you pursue. I obviously didn't deal with any of this kind of shit that he's talking about right now, but I will say success definitely comes with this kind of attraction. And, Tito, you do need that paper. It is pretty insane. You know, there's 2 aspects of this. Basically, the way he was treated because of who he was, and then basically the way he was treated because of the money that was coming with it. And I think about that a lot. Especially like living out here in Malibu, California. Yeah, it's just a wild, wild thing. Heidi right here. Men are a pain to deal with. Why would I deal with a poor one? I think you just have to understand also that a poor man is probably an honest man. A rich man is probably a dishonest man. That would be my perspective for you. Because often people who like a lot of money had to say some things that weren't necessarily true to get there. And then once you build those habits of being willing to say certain things to get that kind of money, then it's a lot easier to say it all the time. That's something I definitely learned about being in business and being surrounded by people. Poor men treat you worse. I guess, Heidi, the thing is what is your version of treatment? This is where the question comes is, Heidi, is your version of being treated well being taken to nicer restaurants or being bought things? Because that right there is transactional. That's not treatment. That's transaction. And I think that's probably the note that this guy is trying to get on, is he doesn't understand. Women are transactional often rather than treatment based. He probably was a really good guy back in the day. And then all of a sudden he made a ton of money and he became a transactional guy. So, Heidi, you got to be careful. If you want a handbag, sure, rich guys got them. They can get them for you. But something to pay attention to. Something to pay attention to. Ain't going to find a rich guy in Hyrox. Love you, Jim. Love you, Jim Bob. Fuck, this guts me right here. Long-winded answer. Basically, this dude named Tom Brady, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, is getting paid $70 million by Saudi Arabia to go play a game over there. What am I doing wrong with my life? I don't know how. I also like this guy a lot. Let me listen to this. Don't distract me. I'm not interested. This is also another crazy thing about chicks. True, I'm the wrong person to ask. My ex was abusive. Girls love to spill all their drama all over the table for everyone to see. I don't talk about my exes. I ain't got time for that shit. Heidi, read the room. There's a bunch of learned men here. Macho men. I don't need this kind of shit. I wasn't watching it for you, Austin Petrie. Let's see here. There's not much else I really want to talk about. I guess this is interesting, and I'll leave on this. This is in a different language, so I'm not going to try to understand what the fuck they're saying. But I think what this guy is referencing is these are the Ironman Nice marathon splits of the World Championship. And it appears that people that are going to be the highest predictors of winning the championship are the fastest runners. Now, it doesn't necessarily exactly correlate that way, but check this out. I don't know how far back Patrick Lang was when it came to his placement, but Casper Stornes ran a 1:14 half, followed by a 1:14.58 half. 2:29. He won by, I think a couple minutes. Gustav Eden did a 2:32, but down here, there's a 2:31, the second closest person, and that's Patrick Lang. Patrick Lang won the world title 3 times. I think we're very quickly recognizing that Ironman World Championships is actually dominated by runners. Like, you have to be a great runner who can ride a bike and swim. Because Patrick Lang won 3 times. He's the most dominant of all these athletes when it comes to world titles. Christian Blumenfeld didn't seem to really have his day here as far as the run came, because you can see this very big deficit in the back end. It's a 5 minute and 18-second deficit on the back end. He bonked. But if he had held on to that, who knows what had happened? Who knows what had happened? Obviously, whatever. It's not even worth conversating. But look at the deficit here. These guys were within, this is a 90-second deficit. These guys right here, this right here is a 3-minute deficit. This one's a 5-minute deficit. This right here is only a 30-second deficit. These guys, the people that had tighter groupings tended to have better results. This one right here is pretty good. That's a minute. Some of these are huge, though. Jonas right here. Woo! Big drop off. Look at this one. Woo! Same laid low. These guys bonked for sure. I think it was a hot day. But sounds like you guys got to get better at running. Wow. You guys are just in the comments, just fighting each other. Yeah. You guys are vicious. Vicious beasts. Doesn't even know that is Heidi's sister. To be a goof Ironman athlete. Man, this guy's upset. You guys are all upset. I'm reading your notes. You guys are just upset. Hunter is going to get crazy famous. NGL, the experience and knowledge is awesome. Thanks, dude. Wish we had more babes here. Wish you had more babes here to recognize how smart I was. Heidi, why would you go to Kona? Waste of time. Wait, I thought your sister's really good at Kona. I forgot about that. I forgot about that. All right, guys. I got to get the fuck out of here. I got shit to do. It was cool. And I'm going to miss you guys. I think the most important thing I'm going to leave here is that you guys are uneducated and you need me. I'm a mega church pastor. This is your church. You guys need to show up so I can show you the way. Kate is for sure a dude. Drop it. And I'm just here to help you guys. I'm trying to clear up things. I think I might have this this really fast ultra marathoner cyclist who's setting all the world records. I'm going to have him on the show on Monday, maybe. So I'll keep you guys updated. And then also on Friday, if they don't ban me, I'll probably try to stream the Hyrox race out in whatchamacallitville. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys want, I'm gonna do one of those kind of things. You guys know when like hot chicks, they don't want to do an OnlyFans, but you can buy them a coffee in their link tree, which doesn't make any fucking sense. But if you guys want to buy me a coffee, aka just give me all your money, I'll take it. I'm going to do that for sure, dude. I'm going to do the hot chick link tree smoke and mirrors kind of thing. Oh, if you were inspired by my pictures, buy me a coffee. No, I don't want to buy you a coffee, Heidi. You seem like you're damaged and you're upset. And I would only be just a reflection of your past. You need to do interpersonal work, and then maybe we can talk about it. All right. Love you guys. Bye.